Hey, Kate.
Hey, Mary.
How's it going?
Good. How are you?
Pretty good. Pooh's on full alert right now. And now he's looking out the window because there's actual birds at the bird feeder.
Oh, that'll keep him entertained.
Well, we'll see. We'll see. And Cecil over here, who insists on coming over right as the podcast starts, only wants some snacks, and we'll see how long he's good.
Well, we'll see how long mine are good too.
Okay, so two things I wanted to talk about tonight. And the first one comes from I was just on a board meeting for the Pet Stylist Relief Fund. And for those who don't know what that is, we are a 501c C3 charity. Okay. And our mission is to help pet professionals when faced with a disaster that is not within their control. So something along the lines that meets FEMA requirements. Okay. So one of the things I think we had a hard time getting help to the people who needed help was because once the disaster happens, now you're scrambling to get stuff. You may not have internet. You don't know where things are. But what if you were like just a little prepared beforehand? And we're calling it, I'm going to make a checklist because I'm the queen of checklists.
And laminate it.
And laminate it too. So make sure I put that on my list here. Laminate. All right, let me hold on one second. So I'm going to create a checklist, right, of what you should have at least the very bare minimum. And this is going to be something pretty easy to do. And it was honestly, this little checklist is not going to take you too much time. Okay. So the first thing you need, all right, is get yourself either a Google Drive or a Dropbox folder. Those are cloud-based. If you have another cloud-based thing that you like, go for it. The reason I like Google Drive or Dropbox is you can get an app, go to the app stores and download and put the app on your phone. It's going to make life so much easier. So as long as your cloud-based storage has an app that you can move things back and forth from your phone into the folders, then whatever, right? But I do like my Drive. It's both Drive and Dropbox have free versions up to a certain amount, and then they charge you for it. And I know, who's that?
This is Sky.
Hi, Sky.
Apparently, she wants to say hello.
Who went to sleep, so we're good.
Okay, there she goes.
I like Drive because to buy storage on it is ridiculously cheap. Right. I don't know what Dropbox what they charge, but anyway. So I'm going to set up a Drive folder, and I'm going to name the folder. You name it whatever you want. I say rescue, rebuild, resume. Just okay, because it'll be easy to know what that is, rather than naming it something vague and if you're like me, where you have, I don't know, 50 folders, might be good to make sure you name them so you know what's in the actual folder.
Yes, I am guilty until recently of doing that. And then you're clicking on everything. You're like, what's in there? What's in there?
Yeah, I know. I just deleted a bunch of, I swear to you, empty folders. So the folders were named, there's nothing in them. There's no reason because there's like a duplicate. So whatever it is I was thinking, I made duplicate folders. Don't ask. Okay. But you get the app on your phone and you have the app on the computer. Right. So some of the first things that are going to go into that folder, and you can even have subfolders within that to make things a little easier. So I would do a folder of, let's say, exterior or interior photos. So exterior, whatever business you have, okay, you should be taking exterior photos of it, and then interior structure folders, right? And it's really easy. You take them on your phone and you move them over to the app. Okay. And then you can delete them off your phone so they don't eat up more memory than the. Do you hear him? We'll see if he's quiet with some more snackies, but that was all of like 5 minutes that he was here. And we have about another 25 minutes for him. He ain't going anywhere. All right. So I would take structure photos. All right. Interior and exterior. And if you're a mobile groomer, that's your van. Interior and exterior. What it looks like with no problems. And just upload those to the folders. Right. Other things should also be equipment photos. So lay out all your scissors, your blades, whatever, your equipment, lay it on top of the table. And I would do it by category. So I would put all your scissors on the table, take a picture. Then put all your blades on the table, take a picture. All you whatever things, take a picture. Okay. If you have receipts, you can upload them there. All right. But the main thing is your photos. Right. And then I will be taking pictures of like the big equipment, like your tub, your tables. All right. Your chairs, your laptops or computers, point of sale things, printers, whatever equipment you have, your dryers. Okay. All of those, you should take pictures of it so you can demonstrate this is the equipment that we have in our facility. Right? There should also be another folder for what I like to call like soft stuff. All right. Just to demonstrate that this is stuff that you use on a regular basis. This is your shampoos, your conditioners, your bows, things that are reusable. Well, not reusable, but what's the word I want to use, Kate? Replaceable. You're using them. Okay. So you can show the supplies that you normally have on hand. Okay. There should also be in there a list of your suppliers. Like, where do you get your equipment from? Who do you buy your scissors from? So that if you have to replace these, who are you going to call? It's not Ghostbusters.
Did they even? Well, yeah, they would still know that now, wouldn't they?
Yeah, because there was a couple of recent redos on it.
I was like, we're not that old.
We're not that old. We never saw the originals. We're too young for the original.
Right.
Okay, so, and then there should be an insurance folder in there. You really need to know what your insurance covers and does not cover. Whatever area you are in, there will be known emergencies and disasters. It's known. Here, Washington, our known things are going to be volcano. I got to find out if I have volcano insurance. I'm actually not in my home anyway, is not within our 7 active volcanoes. But earthquakes, landslides, tsunamis, flood damage, other parts of the state, there's wildfire. You're in Arizona. So there's things that are particular to Arizona. There's going to be things particular to California or any other state. There's something particular. All right. Now, here's the thing. If it's something particular to the area that happens on a regular basis, you may not be covered under your insurance policy for it. It may be a separate rider. And you need to know that. You can't make an assumption that if you're in the heartland and your business is destroyed by a tornado, that your business insurance will cover it. May not. You will only know that if you contact your insurance company. Have them email you a copy of your policy so you can upload the policy, put it in that folder. A copy of the Pet Styles Relief Fund application partially filled out. That was the biggest issue we had, Kate, getting applications to people. They had no way to print them out. Wi-Fi could have been a little sketchy. Maybe they couldn't like fill them out. We've made a lot of changes to getting the application because of that. So it's easier as long as you have a Wi-Fi connection. Mm-hmm. What if you don't have a Wi-Fi connection?
Right.
You know, if you're in an area, now there are some disasters that do not sneak up on us. Okay. Hurricanes would be one.
Hmm.
Um, and winter storms tend to be another one.
Yeah.
Okay. Um, most likely, I mean, earthquakes, even wildfires. If you're not in the immediate vicinity, but it's heading your way, you know that.
Hmm.
Okay. So if you know a disaster is coming, then get all your ducks in a row, get that application filled out in the folder, and then send that folder or give somebody in another part of the country, maybe a family member, access to that folder so that they can make the claim for you.
There you go.
So, and then there's like FEMA applications. And I have no idea how that works. Do they give out those applications?
I'm not sure.
I'm not sure. Usually from my understanding, they have a rep there who's supposed to help you, but you know,
That's why I'm saying I'm not sure.
I'm not 100% sure on that.
I don't want to say because you never know.
And here's the thing, things change all the time. So what is available today, Monday, May 12th, may not be available Tuesday, May 13th.
Right.
Okay. So be prepared as best as you possible. I mean, and honestly, if you do the basics, all right, email your insurance company. Hey, I want a copy emailed of my insurance policy. Okay. Then you just upload that. Setting up a Dropbox or a Drive folder will take you a couple of minutes. Taking photographs, uploading them, you're just moving them from your phone over into those files. Okay. You could probably do this in an hour. An hour, Kate?
Wow. Or if you're like me, it may be a little bit longer than that.
Okay, if you're me, it'll be done within the hour.
Yeah. It will. The bottom line, it's not going to take too long.
It's not going to take too long. It's just something that should be done. And once it's done, you don't have to worry too much about it. All the files are there. Okay.
Right.
And then laminate. So my checklist, when I create the checklist, okay, I will post it in first of all, it'll be on the Pet Stylist Relief Fund, their website. And I'll probably have a little video that goes along with it to demonstrate, what it is. But it'll be there, download it, and, again, laminate it, and then.
But of course.
The laminate is one of the things that, I'm curbing my Amazon purchases, okay? So that if I can buy it local, I'm going to buy it local, all right? Only if I can't get it locally, then I'll go over to Amazon and order it. But I no longer have like an Office Max or a Staples here.
Oh.
Yeah, I don't. So I can't even.
Or you just didn't have one?
We had like a Office Depot or Office Max, I forget which one, and they closed up, and now there's a Sportsman Warehouse in it.
Ew.
So I will tell you, my laminator, the one that I have right back there, that breaks on me tomorrow. By tomorrow morning, by the following morning, I will have one.
From Amazon Prime overnight.
Time that sucker right over here.
Oh, that's too funny.
Okay. So let's do our one and only commercial, and then we'll get into the second half.
Are you tired of putting off your emergency and disaster planning manual? Look no further. This 67-page fillable template will make the process a breeze. Simply fill in the blanks for your business and gain access to checklists for supplies, common hazards, debriefing, evacuation and shelter-in-place protocols, resources, recovery, maintenance, as well as best intake practices. It's time to take action and be prepared. Get your copy today at positiveed.com/books.
Okay, So anything else you think I should add to that checklist before we continue on?
No, I think it's a pretty good checklist. And I think, you probably would get a little bit more once you talk to the insurance agent to maybe put it onto that. But I think all overall, that's a good checklist.
Okay. All right. So the second half, we're going to talk about peer support.
Yeah. So peer support, I am excited to finally bring that to the forefront. So Bishop's Mission, that's part of what I do. That's basically all of what I do with Bishop's Mission is peer support, but we work with peer support on the first responder aspect of it. Being a former responder, we can go in there, we can understand what they have been going through and help talk to them about that. When it comes to peer support, we're not in any way, shape, or form, we're not therapists. We're just a peer, just like you, who's been through the ins and outs of what the profession brings upon you. And we're here for anybody to talk through it. I found while I've been doing Bishop's Mission for the last, little over 2 years now, it made me realize as a PrEP professional that we don't really have anything like that. And so that's why I wanted to start incorporating that into the HELP program and start offering peer support for PrEP professionals, because I go on some of these forums and, just for an example, groomer has a dog pass away on them during the grooming process. And I see that they're reaching out into some of these groups and they're reaching out saying, hey, I feel awful. And some of the replies that come back with that, I'm just like, oh, that's not what we want to hear at that point in time. So it's really about educating as far as how to utilize peer support. And then on top of that, how to properly utilize like a peer debriefing, if it's even needed.
See, I really like that. And over the course of my career, I would have loved to have been able to have somebody to talk to non-judgmental. So who do we have? I mean, we all have friends we know we can talk to.
Right.
Call them up and we can have the conversation with them. But not everybody has that, right? Or they're in, let's call it a dramatic grooming shop.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And you may not feel comfortable talking to your colleagues there. I think it's why so many of these cries for help in the you see them in the forums, they're all anonymous posts.
Yeah. And that's what I want people to understand as well. So peer support is all confidential, and to try and reach out to as many people as we can for it. We're doing it over Zoom currently, but you don't even have to turn the camera on. You don't even have to talk if you don't want to. If you want to, you can. But the whole purpose is that anything that's said in that room stays in that room, or at least should stay in that room. And you don't have to sit here and say your name. You don't have to introduce who you are. But if there's something that occurred and you want to talk about it, you're more than welcome to talk about that. So it's a totally judgmental place. It's just somewhere for people to turn to that's been through some sort of trauma that, they don't know where else to go, or it's really bothering them and they want to talk about it.
All right. So tell me a little bit more about the Zoom that you're doing.
So right now we just put out the first one. So I put out a link for the very first one just to kind of go over like what peer support is. And then we actually put out the very first Zoom call. But because of the fact that I noticed when I put it out publicly for that first one to just explain what peer support was, there was definitely some trolls that jumped on that. So I want this to be a confidential place. And so therefore you're going to have to register, whether that be send an email saying peer support, whether that, give me a call, give me a text. But I'm going to have everybody request to be in that room, and then we'll kind of have to guide it from there, because I want to try and keep the trolls out. Eventually, I think what I'm going to end up doing is just making it under a membership.
Okay. Okay. I like that. And I think that's a better option of figuring out. I mean, I know you're involved with Angie with this, and Angie, by the way, has a membership site.
Yes. Yes, she does.
And how convenient is that?
I know her positive ed.
So I think you can get something up on that. Yeah, I think it's needed in this industry. I think we're, what's the word I want to use? We are definitely a women-based industry, all right, but attracts, I think, a high number of the LGBTQ community, as well as a high number of the neurodiverse community.
Yeah.
So I think there's a need for it.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the thing. Like, we're just getting our feet wet with it on the first responder side. And yet at the same time, what really triggered it for me was the fact that, looking into it as a pet professional, veterinarians, vet techs, some of their suicide rates are almost as high as a first responder. So obviously it's needed.
Yeah.
But yet at the same time, the public, I think it's hard enough because the public doesn't really respect a lot of times what we do because it's animal based.
Mm-hmm.
And then coming into it, you've got a lot of different personalities and there's no real guideline with it. And so somebody goes through something and I see, people are typing in, they're like, oh, it's part of the job. It's not your fault. You'll get over it. And that's just what we do. And it's like, it's not necessarily what they want to hear at that point in time. So it's about how just to properly process through the trauma without having to necessarily go to a counselor. If it is something that, is above and beyond peer support, then we'll definitely try and refer you out to maybe get counseling depending on what it is. But it's just a forum to have people, if they have any type of trauma, to set it up and have somebody to go to and just listen.
Okay. So in order to get this private link for people to register for, say I want to, how do I do that? Do I send you a message? Do I find you on Facebook? Honestly, you could probably, wherever you're watching this podcast, you could probably just put it into the chat group or message one of us.
Yeah, and I think as of right now, I'm doing everything through the help site. So if they go on the help Facebook page, that's usually where I'm going to announce it, because right now I'm just starting it out. So we're just going to do once a month peer support call, just because we need to start building it up and let people know that it's there. So if we do once a month, and then if we see that there's a demand or a need to do more than that, then we'll add on more than that. But so right now I'm just utilizing the help email, which is help.lifelinepreparedness@gmail.com.
Okay. So the Facebook page, what's the name of the Facebook page?
It will be under Human and Animal Emergency Lifeline Preparedness.
Human and Animal Lifeline. Let's see what comes up.
Here, let me see if I can.
Human and Animal Emergency Lifeline Preparedness.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's the page. Human and Animal Emergency Lifeline Preparedness. You can send a message, and when they are doing the what do you call it? The next one. Now I see here, and I'm going to ask you this question because now I see it's on your page. Veterinarian experts do not recommend the rattlesnake vaccine.
Mm-hmm.
Why?
Because it doesn't really do anything. When I worked in the vet office, the vet at that time said, it doesn't prevent you from having to get anti-venom. It just maybe gives you an extra 15 minutes. Well, they're finding that there's nothing to really back that up either. So even the vets out here are not recommending it anymore.
Okay, that's good to know, because my knowledge of it was always that it was going to buy a little time, and that was about it.
That was about it. But now that's even, up for question. So the vets out here, they're not recommending it anymore, at least the locals.
Okay, and that's who I would what I recommend. Talk to your vet. See what your vet has to say.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So we're almost up on our half hour. Anything else you want to add?
I don't think so.
There's one thing I want to, and I just kind of like to drill this into people's heads. Okay. In the event of emergency and disaster, all right, and can't get supplies in, know that your local stores, your Costco's, your Walmarts, your supermarkets, basically have a 3-day supply of food to feed the community. That's it, 3 days.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so if you cannot get supplies in, like I'm here on the peninsula, if the bridges are out, supplies are coming in by boat.
Right.
Okay? And that's if I can get to wherever you're dropping off supplies. So be prepared. My recommendation is, and for me, it's 6 months. I'm trying to get as close to 6 months as I can. I don't have 6 months worth of food just yet, but I'm working on it.
Yeah. Well, and you know what? Hopefully you'll never need it.
You know what? That's why we rotate food.
Mm-hmm.
At one point, if I never use it, food bank is going to get a windfall.
Yeah. Yeah. I always say that. I always say that about any emergency training.
Yeah.
Always have it, but I hope that you never need it.
Exactly.
But you'll be happy if you do.
Be really happy if I can't get to the supermarket for 6 months and I'm not gnawing on the grass outside.
Right.
Just saying.
Although the grass might not be that bad.
At some point, the grass may not be so bad. All right. Kate, are we meeting next week? No, we are not.
Okay.
I'll tell you that right now. I am doing an instructor training. So no, next week. We'll be back the following week, following Monday.
No, I'm in.
We won't be. So we're going into June.
Yes.
Hold on. See when we will be back next. Monday, June 2nd.
Works for me.
Works for me. See everybody in a couple of weeks.